Part I, Foundations, the New Digital Lab Partner Chapter 1, Defining the Revolution. The scientific method, the bedrock of human progress for centuries, is undergoing a profound metamorphosis for generations. Tools have extended our physical and computational capabilities. The telescope, the microscope, the computer. Today, artificial intelligence, AI, is emerging not merely as another tool, but as a transformative partner in the research process. This chapter outlines the fundamental shift from seeing AI as a calculator to embracing it as a collaborator, introduces the key concepts powering this change, and explores the technological hardware that makes it all possible. 11 From calculator to collaborator, the evolution of AI in science. The journey of AI in science has evolved through three distinct phases: the calculator phase, late 20th century. Early computers and simple algorithms were used for statistical analysis, data plotting, and running predefined models. The AI, often basic regression or classification algorithms, was a powerful calculator, crunching numbers faster than a human ever could, but it lacked any ability to learn or understand the data. The scientist provided the entire intellectual framework, the computer provided the arithmetic. The assistant phase, early 21st century, 2010s. With the rise of more sophisticated machine learning, AI began to assist with specific, complex tasks. It could identify patterns in large data sets, e.g., classifying galaxy shapes in astronomy images, optimize parameters in simulations, or control robotic lab equipment for high-throughput experimentation. Here, AI started to take on domain-specific tasks, but its role was still siloed and required heavy human supervision and feature engineering. The collaborator phase, present, ongoing. We are now entering an era where AI acts as a genuine collaborator powered by deep learning and generative models. Modern AI systems can generate novel hypotheses by finding non-intuitive correlations across vast, disparate literatures, design experiments and suggest methodologies to test those hypotheses, interpret complex results and propose underlying mechanisms, create entirely new data in the form of simulations, molecular structures, or code. This shift marks a move from automation to augmentation. The scientist remains the creative force, asking the fundamental questions and providing domain expertise, while the AI collaborator handles the immense scale and complexity of modern data, offering insights and possibilities that would be impossible for a human to perceive alone. 12 Key concepts: machine learning, ML, deep learning, DL, natural language processing, NLP, generative AI. Understanding the AI revolution requires a basic vocabulary of its driving technologies. Machine learning, ML, the overarching field of study that gives computers the ability to learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every task. Instead of following rigid instructions, ML algorithms identify patterns and build models based on examples. Deep learning, DL, a powerful subset of ML inspired by the structure of the human brain. It uses artificial neural networks with many layers, deep networks, to learn progressively more complex features from raw data. DL is exceptionally good at tasks like image recognition, speech-to-text, and advanced prediction, making it a workhorse for modern scientific AI. Natural language processing, NLP, a field at the intersection of computer science and linguistics that enables computers to understand, interpret, and generate human language in research. NLP powers the semantic search of scientific papers, summarization of articles, and extraction of structured data from unstructured text, e.g., pulling chemical reaction data from old PDFs. Generative AI, a class of AI algorithms that can create new, original content, whether text, images, audio, or synthetic data that is similar but not identical to the data it was trained on. This is arguably the most transformative concept for science, enabling the generation of new hypotheses, drug candidates, and experimental designs. 13 types of AI systems used in research: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. These key concepts are implemented through three primary learning paradigms. Supervised learning, the algorithm is trained on a labeled dataset. It learns to map input data to known outputs. Scientific example, training a model on thousands of images of cells that are labeled cancerous or healthy. The model learns to classify new, Unlabeled cell images accurately unsupervised learning. The algorithm finds hidden patterns or intrinsic structures in input data without any pre-existing labels. Scientific example, analyzing gene expression data from thousands of patients to automatically discover new subtypes of a disease that were previously unknown, without telling the algorithm what to look for. Reinforcement learning, RLN. Algorithm learns to make a sequence of decisions by interacting with a dynamic environment. It receives rewards for good decisions and penalties for bad ones, learning over time to achieve a complex goal. Scientific example, an AI agent learns to control a nuclear fusion reactor by adjusting magnetic fields thousands of times per second, with the goal of maximizing plasma stability. The reward, 14. The hardware backbone, GPUs, TPUs, and quantum computing's future role. The AI revolution is built on a hardware revolution. The massive neural networks at the heart of modern AI require unimaginable amounts of parallel computation. GPUs, graphics processing units originally designed for rendering video game graphics, GPUs excel at performing millions of simple calculations simultaneously. This architecture is perfectly suited for training deep learning models, making them the fundamental engine of the current AI boom. TPUs, tensor processing units, custom-built application-specific integrated circuits, ASICs, developed by Google specifically for accelerating TensorFlow-based machine learning workloads. They are even more efficient than GPUs for large-scale model training and inference. Quantum computing's future role, while still in its infancy, quantum computing holds the potential to solve certain classes of problems intractable for classical computers. Future applications could include simulating complex molecular interactions for drug discovery exactly, optimizing global logistics for clinical trials, or cracking new forms of encryption that secure scientific data. It represents the next potential leap in computational power for science. This foundational hardware provides the raw computational power that transforms theoretical AI algorithms into practical tools, enabling researchers to tackle problems of previously impossible scale and complexity. Chapter 2, the AI-enhanced research workflow. The integration of artificial intelligence is not merely adding a new step to the old scientific process, it is fundamentally reshaping the entire workflow into a more dynamic, iterative, and powerful cycle. This chapter contrasts the traditional linear method with the modern AI augmented loop and delves into the critical stages where AI is making the most significant impact, managing data deluge, automating physical experiments, and accelerating the path from raw analysis to true insight. 21. The traditional scientific method vs the AI augmented loop. The classic scientific method is a linear, hypothesis-driven process. 1. Observe a phenomenon. 2. Form a hypothesis. 3. Design an experiment to test the hypothesis. 4. Conduct the experiment and collect data. 5. Analyze the data to conclude. This process is rigorous but can be slow, limited by human cognitive bandwidth, and often struggles with the complexity and scale of modern scientific problems. The AI augmented loop is a faster, more iterative, and data-centric paradigm. 1. Hypothesize. The scientist, often aided by AI literature mining tools, forms an initial question or hypothesis. 2. Design and execute. AI algorithms help design the most efficient experiment or simulation. Robotic labs and automated systems then execute it at high throughput. 3. Generate data. Vast amounts of data are produced from sensors, instruments, and simulations. 4. Analyze and model. AI models process and analyze this data in real time, identifying patterns, building predictive models, and generating new insights. 5. Interpret and suggest. The AI interprets results, suggests refinements to the hypothesis, and proposes the next most informative experiments to run. This creates a closed-loop system where the output of one cycle directly and rapidly informs the input of the next. The AI doesn't replace the scientist but acts as a force multiplier, handling data-intensive tasks and suggesting possibilities, allowing the human researcher to focus on higher-level strategy, creativity, and domain expertise. 22. Data curation, cleaning, and management at scale. The adage "garbage in, garbage out" is critically magnified in AI-driven science. Before any advanced analysis can begin, data must be prepared. This stage, often the most time-consuming part of traditional research, is being revolutionized by AI automated data curation, AI can automatically ingest data from diverse sources, lab instruments, published papers, public databases, and standardize it into a usable format. Intelligent cleaning: machine learning models can detect and correct errors, impute missing values with smart estimates, rather than just deleting them, and identify outliers that may represent either noise or a critical discovery. Metadata generation: AI can automatically tag and annotate data sets, creating rich metadata that makes data findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. FAIR principles: active data management: AI systems can manage data flow and storage across cloud and high-performance computing (HPC) systems, ensuring the right data is available for the right analysis at the right time. This automation transforms data preparation from a manual chore into a streamlined, scalable process, ensuring that researchers spend more time on discovery and less on data wrangling. 23. The rise of automated and high-throughput experimentation: AI is moving from the digital realm into the physical laboratory through robotics and automation. Robotic scientists, systems like Eve, for drug discovery, and Atom, for functional genomics, are physically automated platforms that can design their own experiments to test hypotheses, run them using robotic arms and liquid handlers, and then analyze the results to decide what to do next, all with minimal human intervention. Closed-loop optimization: in fields like chemistry and material science, AI algorithms control reactors and synthesizers. They analyze the output of one experiment and immediately adjust parameters, e.g., temperature, concentration, pressure, for the next run, to rapidly converge on an optimal outcome, such as finding the recipe for a new material with desired properties. Autonomous labs of the future: the vision is for fully integrated self-driving labs where AI handles the entire experimental life cycle, from literature review and hypothesis generation to physical execution and publication of results, with humans in an oversight and strategic role. This shift enables an exponential increase in the number of experiments that can be performed, exploring a vastly larger region of the experimental space than would be humanly possible. 24. From analysis to insight: accelerating the discovery process. The final and most crucial step is extracting meaningful knowledge from data. AI dramatically accelerates and deepens this process. Pattern recognition at scale: AI excels at finding subtle, complex correlations in high-dimensional data, data with many variables, that would be invisible to the human eye. For example, identifying a faint genetic signature for a disease across genomic data from millions of patients. Predictive modeling: ML models can build highly accurate predictive simulations of real-world phenomena, from climate patterns to the folding of a protein, allowing scientists to run what-if scenarios digitally. Dimensionality reduction: techniques like TSNE and UMAP, powered by AI, can take complex, high-dimensional data and project it into 2D or 3D visualizations, allowing humans to intuitively explore and understand the structure of their data from correlation to causation. While a key challenge, new AI methods are being developed to move beyond identifying correlations to suggesting causal relationships, providing testable mechanistic hypotheses for why an observed effect occurs. By handling the heavy lifting of analysis, AI frees the researcher to do what humans do best: exercise creativity, apply deep domain knowledge to interpret the AI's findings, and weave those insights into a coherent narrative that advances human understanding. The result is not just faster science, but profoundly different and more profound science. Chapter 3: Ideation and Literature Review. The initial spark of a research project, finding a compelling question to answer, is often the most daunting challenge. Researchers traditionally faced a near impossible task: staying abreast of the thousands of papers published daily in their field, let alone adjacent disciplines where transformative insights often hide. AI is revolutionizing this first stage by acting as a superhuman research assistant, capable of reading, synthesizing, and connecting knowledge across the entire scientific corpus to illuminate hidden paths and generate novel ideas. 31. AI-powered discovery of research gaps. A research gap is an unanswered question or an unexplored area within a field. Manually identifying them requires a Herculean effort of synthesis across decades of literature. AI accelerates this by trend analysis, machine learning. Algorithms can analyze publication metadata, titles, abstracts, Citations, keywords, over time to map the evolution of a field they can identify topics that are oversaturated, declining, or emerging, highlighting areas ripe for investigation. Contradiction and consensus mapping, advanced natural language processing, NLP, models can scan millions of papers to find instances where study results conflict or where a strong consensus exists. A gap may be the need to resolve a long-standing contradiction or to challenge a consensus with new methods. Known unknowns identification, AI can detect sentences in literature that explicitly state limitations or suggest future work, e.g., it remains unclear whether or further research is needed to. By aggregating these statements, it can build a map of the community's own acknowledged unknowns. This transforms gap discovery from a subjective, intuitive process to a systematic, data-driven one. 32 Semantic search and knowledge graphs. Beyond keyword queries, traditional keyword search is limited and brittle. It fails if an author uses different terminology, e.g., neoplasm vs cancer, and cannot understand context or meaning. Semantic search, this technology understands the intent and contextual meaning behind a query. Instead of just matching keywords, it uses language models to find papers that are about the same concept, even if they use completely different words. A search for novel treatments for elevated blood glucose would return relevant papers on new diabetes therapies. Knowledge graphs, these are large, structured networks of interconnected entities and concepts. AI systems build them by extracting information from scientific literature, linking genes to diseases, chemicals to reactions, authors to institutions, and theories to evidence. This allows researchers to traverse connections, start at a known entity, e.g., a specific protein, and visually explore all its known relationships, pathways it's involved in, drugs that target it, diseases it influences, discover indirect links. The graph can reveal unexpected connections between seemingly disparate fields, suggesting entirely new interdisciplinary research avenues. Together, semantic search and knowledge graphs allow researchers to navigate the scientific universe by meaning, not just by words. 33 Tools, Elicit, Cite, Semantic Scholar, and Connected Papers. A new ecosystem of AI-powered tools is putting these capabilities into researchers' hands. Elicit, an AI research assistant that uses language models to automate literature reviews. Researchers can ask a direct question, e.g., what are the effects of mindfulness meditation on anxiety in adolescents, and Elicit will find relevant papers, summarize key takeaways, and extract specific data like sample sizes and outcomes. Cite, a tool that helps evaluate the quality of evidence instead of just showing citation counts. Cite uses AI to classify how a paper has been cited, whether subsequent work has supported or contradicted its findings. This allows a researcher to quickly gauge the reliability of a prior study. Semantic Scholar, a free, AI-backed search engine from the Allen Institute for AI. It provides highly accurate semantic search, key concept extraction, and highlights influential citations. Its TLDR, too long, didn't read, feature provides AI-generated bullet point summaries of papers. Connected Papers, a visual tool that generates interactive graphs of related papers. Starting from a seed paper, it builds a graph of semantically similar works, allowing researchers to quickly visualize the scholarly landscape around a topic, identify foundational prior work, and detect recent trends on the periphery. 34 Generating novel hypotheses with generative models. This is the frontier of AI in ideation. Generative AI models, trained on the vast body of human scientific knowledge, can now propose entirely new and plausible hypotheses. Mechanism, by learning the latent patterns and relationships within scientific text and data, these models can make inductive leaps. For example, a model trained on biomedical literature might suggest that a drug known to affect a specific biological pathway in one disease could be repurposed for another disease that shares a dysregulation in that same pathway. A connection a human might have missed. Cross-domain fertilization. Generative models are not limited to a single domain. They can absorb knowledge from biology, chemistry, engineering, and physics simultaneously, proposing hypotheses that fuse concepts from different fields, such as suggesting a nanomaterial from materials science as a novel drug delivery vehicle. In oncology, the human in the loop, the role of the scientist shifts from generating the initial hypothesis from scratch to evaluating, refining, and validating the AI's proposals. The AI acts as a boundless source of creative, data-driven suggestions, which the researcher then tests with their expert judgment and experimental skill. This capability marks the ultimate expression of AI as a collaborator in the ideation phase, transforming it from a tool for finding existing knowledge into an engine for creating new, testable ideas that push the boundaries of human imagination. Chapter 4, Research Design and Proposal. A well-designed experiment is the backbone of robust, reproducible science. This chapter explores how AI is transitioning from a passive analytical tool to an active strategic partner in the planning stages, helping researchers design more efficient experiments, anticipate challenges, and even craft more compelling proposals to secure essential funding. 41. Optimizing experimental design with AI simulation. Traditional experimental design often relies on iterative trial and error or one-factor-at-a-time approaches, which are inefficient and can miss complex interactions between variables. AI introduces a paradigm of in silico, computer-simulated, pre-testing, active learning and Bayesian optimization. AI algorithms, particularly those using Bayesian methods, can guide the experimental process. Researchers define the goal, e.g., maximize yield, find the most stable compound, and the variables they can adjust. The AI then proposes the most informative experiment to run next. Based on all previous results, it intelligently explores the vast experimental space to find the optimal parameters with the fewest number of real-world, costly experiments. Digital twins. For complex systems like a chemical reactor, a climate model, or a human organ, AI can help create a digital twin, a highly accurate computer simulation. Researchers can run thousands of virtual experiments on this digital twin, testing extreme conditions, observing failure points, and refining their approach long before setting foot in a physical lab. This drastically reduces cost, time, and risk. Design of experiments. AI-powered software can automatically generate efficient experimental designs that systematically vary multiple parameters simultaneously. This allows researchers to understand not just the individual effect of each variable but also their interactive effects, providing a much more comprehensive model of the system under study. 42. Predicting potential outcomes and pitfalls. A key mark of experimental maturity is the ability to foresee potential outcomes and complications. AI models, trained on vast historical datasets of experimental data and published literature, can act as a predictive crystal ball. Outcome forecasting. Based on the proposed design and parameters, AI can predict the likely range of results. For instance, in drug discovery, models can predict the binding affinity of a novel molecule to a target protein or its potential toxicity, allowing researchers to prioritize the most promising candidates. Risk identification. AI can scan for potential pitfalls by comparing the proposed methodology to a database of known experimental challenges. It might flag a proposed catalyst as likely to degrade under high temperature, suggest that a specific cell line is prone to contamination, or highlight a statistical analysis that is underpowered for the expected effect size. Feasibility analysis. By integrating data on resource availability, equipment scheduling, and reagent costs, AI systems can provide a realistic estimate of the time and budget required for a project, helping to set achievable goals and timelines from the outset. This predictive capability allows scientists to preemptively troubleshoot their designs, strengthening their proposals and increasing the likelihood of a successful, smooth-running project. 43. AI-assisted grant writing and funding application analysis. Securing funding is a critical yet arduous part of the research life cycle. AI is becoming an invaluable assistant in both crafting proposals and, on the other side, helping funding agencies manage them. For the researcher, grant writing. Literature synthesis. AI tools can quickly synthesize the latest literature to strengthen the background and significance section, ensuring the proposal is grounded in the most current evidence. Grant matching. Algorithms can scan databases of funding opportunities, e.g., GrantsGov, EU Funding and Tenders Portal, to identify calls for proposals that best align with a researcher's project ideas and expertise. Drafting and editing. Language models can assist in drafting clear and compelling narratives for specific sections, suggesting alternative phrasing, ensuring consistency, and checking for compliance with formatting and word count guidelines. Broader impact generation. AI can help researchers articulate the broader societal impact of their work by drawing parallels to successful past projects and suggesting relevant stakeholders and dissemination pathways for the funders. Application analysis, automated triage and reviewer matching. Funding agencies use NLP to automatically triage incoming proposals, check for completeness, and match them to the most appropriate expert reviewers based on the proposal's content and the reviewer's publication history. Bias detection. AI can be used to screen proposals for unconscious linguistic bias, helping to ensure that the evaluation focuses on the scientific merit of the idea rather than the writing style or the prestige of the institution. Trend analysis. Funding bodies can use AI to analyze their entire portfolio of funded grants to identify emerging research trends, assess the impact of their funding strategies, and identify gaps in their support. It is crucial to note that AI here acts as an assistant, not an author. The original hypothesis, innovative thinking, and scientific vision must come from the researcher. AI's role is to alleviate administrative burdens, improve clarity, and increase the efficiency of the grant development process, allowing scientists to focus on what they do best, designing transformative science. Chapter 5. Data acquisition and generation. The lifeblood of modern scientific discovery is data. However, the scale, complexity, and cost of acquiring high-quality data present significant bottlenecks. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing this stage by enhancing the capabilities of physical instruments, creating entirely new data through simulation, and automating the collection of existing information from digital sources. This chapter explores how AI is not just a consumer of data but an active participant in its creation and acquisition. 51. AI in scientific instrumentation and sensor networks. Scientific instruments are no longer passive recorders. Embedded AI is turning them into intelligent systems that can make decisions in real time. Real-time processing and enhancement. AI algorithms, particularly deep learning models, can process data as it is generated to enhance quality instantly. For example, in electron microscopy, AI can denoise images, dramatically improving resolution. Without the need for longer exposure times that could damage delicate biological samples. Adaptive and autonomous instrument control. AI can monitor an ongoing experiment and dynamically adjust instrument parameters to optimize data collection. In a mass spectrometer, an AI could analyze initial scan results and decide to focus the next scan on a specific, interesting mass range, ensuring no crucial data is missed. Anomaly detection in sensor networks. In large-scale sensor networks, like those monitoring ecosystems, seismic activity, or industrial processes, AI continuously analyzes incoming data streams to identify anomalous patterns that signify critical events, e.g., a forest fire, an impending earthquake, or machinery failure, triggering alerts for human intervention. This transforms instruments from data generators to intelligent partners that can guide the experimental process towards the most valuable outcomes. 52. Generating synthetic data for training and testing. A major challenge in applying AI to science is the lack of large, labeled datasets for training models. AI itself provides a powerful solution, generating high-fidelity synthetic data. Training AI models, in fields like medical imaging, where patient data is scarce and privacy protected, generative adversarial networks, GANs, and other models can create realistic, fully annotated synthetic MRI or CT scans. This allows researchers to train robust diagnostic AI systems without compromising real patient data. Testing and validation. Synthetic data provides a sandbox for testing hypotheses and algorithms. For instance, climate scientists can use AI to generate countless variations of extreme weather events within a simulated environment to stress test climate models and preparedness strategies. Enhancing small data sets. Techniques like data augmentation use AI to create realistic variations of existing data, e.g., rotating a cell image, adding noise to a signal, effectively enlarging small data sets. and improving the robustness of machine learning models trained on them. This capability breaks the dependency on scarce or difficult to obtain real-world data, accelerating development and enabling research in previously data-poor fields. 53 Web scraping and large-scale data collection. A vast amount of potentially valuable scientific data exists in unstructured form on the Internet in published papers, government databases, patents, and clinical trial registries. AI-powered tools are essential for harvesting and structuring this information at scale. Intelligent extraction. Traditional web scraping merely copies text. AI-powered scrapers use NLP to understand the context and meaning of the information they extract. They can identify and pull specific data points like chemical compound names, reaction yields, or epidemiological figures from thousands of PDFs and HTML pages, automatically organizing them into structured databases for analysis. Knowledge base construction. This process is fundamental to building the large-scale knowledge graphs discussed in Chapter 3. AI systems continuously scrape and read the scientific literature, extracting entities and relationships to keep these vast maps of human knowledge current. 54 Case study, AI in telescope imaging, astronomy, and particle colliders, physics. Two fields at the extremes of scale exemplify the transformative impact of AI on data acquisition. Astronomy. The Vera-C. Rubin Observatory Challenge. This next-generation telescope will generate over 20 terabytes of data every single night. Manually searching this data for transient events like supernovae or gravitational lensing would be impossible. AI solution. AI algorithms are integral to the observatory's data pipeline. They will run in real time to classify celestial objects, identify anomalies, and flag the most scientifically interesting events for human astronomers within seconds of detection. This enables rapid follow-up observations and turns the telescope into an automated discovery machine. Physics. The Large Hadron Collider, LHC, at CERN Challenge. The LHC's detectors record over 1 billion particle collisions per second. The vast majority are background events. Only a tiny fraction might reveal new physics, like the Higgs boson. AI solution. A sophisticated trigger system, increasingly powered by machine learning, must make a real-time decision on which 1,000 events per second are worth saving for later analysis. AI models analyze the complex collision data in microseconds, filtering out mundane events and preserving the rare, potentially groundbreaking interactions. This makes the discovery of the proverbial needle in a haystack not just possible, but routine. These case studies demonstrate that in the era of big science, AI is not an optional extra, it is a fundamental component of the data acquisition infrastructure, making modern, large-scale research feasible. Chapter 6, Data Processing and Analysis. Once data is acquired, the critical task of transforming raw, often messy information into clean, structured, and analyzable insights begins. This stage has traditionally been a major bottleneck, consuming up to 80% of a researcher's time. Artificial intelligence is automating and revolutionizing this process, handling vast scales of data with superhuman speed and uncovering patterns invisible to the human eye. This chapter delves into the role of AI as the essential engine of modern scientific data analysis. 61 Automated data cleaning and pre-processing. Raw scientific data is rarely pristine. It is plagued by noise, missing values, outliers, and inconsistencies. AI-driven automation is bringing unprecedented efficiency and intelligence to this tedious but vital data wrangling phase. Intelligent imputation. Instead of simply deleting records with missing values, ML models can predict and impute missing data with high accuracy. For instance, a model trained on complete genomic datasets can intelligently fill in missing base pairs based on the surrounding genetic context, preserving valuable sample size and statistical power. Anomaly detection as a feature, while some outliers are errors, e.g., a sensor malfunction, others are critical discoveries, e.g., a rare celestial event. Unsupervised learning algorithms, like isolation forests or autoencoders, can automatically flag all anomalous data points. The researcher can then investigate these flags to differentiate between noise and novel signals, ensuring no potential discovery is accidentally cleaned away. Automated standardization. AI can parse and standardize data from disparate sources and formats, e.g., different lab instruments, historical archives in various units, into a unified, analysis-ready dataset, overcoming a significant hurdle in collaborative and meta-analysis research. 62 Pattern recognition in high-dimensional data. Many modern scientific fields, from genomics to cosmology, generate data with thousands or even millions of variables, features, per observation. This high-dimensional data is impossible for humans to visualize or comprehend directly. Feature reduction and extraction, techniques like principal component analysis, PCA, and T-distributed stochastic neighbor embedding, TSNE, use linear algebra and machine learning to reduce dimensionality while preserving the most important structure and relationships in the data. They can project a million-dimensional dataset down to a 2D or 3D map that a human can explore, revealing natural clusters and patterns. Unsupervised clustering, algorithms like k-means clustering or hierarchical clustering can autonomously find hidden groupings within data. In biology, this is used to discover new disease subtypes based on gene expression patterns. In astronomy, it's used to classify types of stars or galaxies without predefined labels. Computer vision. For science, convolutional neural networks, CNNs, excel at finding patterns in image-based data. They can count and classify cells in microscopic images, identify specific geological formations in satellite imagery, or detect subtle pathological features in medical scans with a consistency and scale unmatched by humans. 63 AI for statistical analysis and modeling. AI is augmenting traditional statistics, enabling more powerful, complex, and nuanced modeling of scientific phenomena. Predictive modeling, machine learning models, e.g., gradient boosting machines, random forests, are often superior to traditional regression techniques for building highly accurate predictive models from complex data. They can model nonlinear relationships and complex interactions between variables without the researcher having to specify them beforehand. Bayesian optimization, this technique uses AI to efficiently navigate complex parameter spaces to find the optimal model parameters. It is far more efficient than traditional grid or manual search, especially for tuning complex models. Causal inference, while ML is famously great at finding correlations, new methods at the intersection of AI and causal inference, e.g., causal forests, double machine learning, are emerging to help move from predicting what will happen to understanding why it happens, getting closer to revealing true causal mechanisms. 64 Case study, AlphaFold and the protein folding problem. Biology. The story of AlphaFold by DeepMind is a paradigmatic case study of AI's transformative power in data analysis, solving a 50-year-old grand challenge in biology. The problem, a protein's 3D structure determines its function. Predicting this structure from its linear amino acid sequence. The protein folding problem was incredibly difficult. Experimental methods like crystallography were slow, expensive, and couldn't keep pace with the millions of sequences being discovered. The AI solution, AlphaFold, is a deep learning system trained on the known structures of 100,000 proteins from the protein data bank. It doesn't simulate physical folding rules. Instead, it learned to predict the precise spatial distances and angles between amino acids in a sequence by recognizing complex patterns in the training data. The impact: in 2020, AlphaFold 2 achieved accuracy comparable to experimental methods. In 2021, DeepMind released predicted structures for over 350,000 proteins, including the entire human proteome. This vast, AI-generated dataset is now freely available to researchers worldwide. The revolution, this has dramatically accelerated research in drug discovery, quickly designing drugs that perfectly fit target protein structures. Enzyme engineering, designing novel enzymes for breaking down plastic waste. Basic disease mechanisms, understanding how genetic mutations that change a sequence lead to misfolding and disease. AlphaFold exemplifies the pinnacle of AI-powered analysis, taking an intractable problem, learning the hidden patterns from existing data, and generating a transformative new resource that accelerates scientific discovery across countless domains. It marks a shift from using AI to analyze data to using it to create foundational scientific knowledge. Chapter 7, Modeling and Simulation. For decades, scientists have used computer models and simulations to understand complex systems that are too expensive, dangerous, or simply impossible to experiment on.